The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our software automation webinar series. My name is Sasha Pizzoli, and I'm a marketing coordinator here at SWK Technologies, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all today. This afternoon, I'll be joined by Jeremy Burt, Velocity founder and CEO. And today, he will be walking you through Sage 100 Advanced Credit Card Processing and how you can save with Interchange Optimization. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping items. All lines will be muted during the presentation, and we will record and distribute the webinar to you in a few days. If you have any questions throughout the session, please type it in the chat box at the bottom of your GoToWebinar sidebar and hit send question to staff at any time. And so without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started with our presentation.
Awesome. Thank you, Sasha. Appreciate it and excited to be here and talk a little bit about VelocityConnect. So what we have here with VelocityConnect is really a advanced and customizable payments platform for Sage 100. We're not going to do a direct demo of every single product because there's so many different configurations. We really encourage people to reach out to us to have a one-on-one customized demo and credit card processing analysis all in one. But we're going to highlight really some of the features and how we achieve the savings with level 3, which is a really big focus of what VelocityConnect does in the B2B market. So let me just make sure I can advance slides here. So with VelocityConnect, one of the biggest things that we focus on is, most people are concerned about savings. And so there's a few ways that we're able to achieve savings at a very high level, and that's interchange optimization. And we're going to dive into a little bit of the technical part of interchange optimization shortly. But at its core, we're sending more data. So with level 3, there's very specific pieces of data that you need to send to make sure that you're getting the lowest possible interchange rates. That really can be saving, some customers that do a lot of B2B transactions, that can be 35% of your actual, in the form of a rate reduction. We're also a registered ISO with Wells Fargo and First Data, so we're able to customize rates and be as competitive as anybody out there. We all, at the wholesale level, we all have the same costs to a degree. So, it's a very level playing field, and we're really here to be a value add to SWK from a technology standpoint and from a service standpoint. So our focuses are really unified on that front. And I think the big key here is about VelocityConnect is that we own the IP, we've developed the solution, and a lot of that comes from feedback from customers. So there's stuff that other providers out there may do well or may not do well, and we're collaborating with a lot of different stakeholders to make sure that we keep our product right up there at the top and very focused on advancing it and customizing it. And with that, there's a lot of folks that have a retail a need or a e-commerce need on top of native payments in their software. And all of those solutions are things that we can handle and bring together in one nice package for you. And I think with that on the actual demonstration of Sage 100, most folks have used that, or if you haven't, that's something that we'll cover very quickly in a short video afterwards as far as what our screens look like to put in payments. And it also is going to show the card present side of it. But at the end of the day, there, again, as I mentioned, there's so many use cases. We really want to be able to break down your individual case-by-case basis, your individual needs. So moving on to the security aspect, which is probably a very close, 1A, 1B, or depending on if we're talking to the accounting department or the IT department, security may be actually number 1 in some eyes. So what we do is we have in the Sage screen that pops up, we're dynamically encrypting the card number on the fly to that DLL that's installed. I don't want to get too technical. I want to keep this very high level, but the key here is we are PCI compliant, and we're using the most advanced encryption technology and the most advanced hosted tokenization platform out there that's available today. What this does for us is that when we add the card present chip card terminals, your PIN pads or signature capture terminals, we actually don't run that through Sage whatsoever. We still call out to the credit card platform completely outside of Sage, which is, again, it simplifies the PCI compliance as far as the IT folks are concerned. It keeps you and your customers' data very safe, which is obviously very important. You know, PCI compliance is something that everybody is dealing with, everybody's concerned about. We take a very aggressive approach with our customers as far as training and trying to make sure it's simplified. So with PCI compliance, everybody has a fee associated with it. What you get with that fee is really important to understand. For us, you're getting network vulnerability scans monthly. So with Card Connect, once your account is set up from your office location, wherever your server is located or wherever your primary instance is located of Sage, you're going to set up these vulnerability scans, and you're going to get a report every time that it runs. You're going to get a notice that your vulnerability scan is scheduled to run, and then you're going to get a follow-up email afterwards. Along with that, all that PCI compliance is visible in the CardPoint dashboard or linked to the appropriate sites and our partners. So security is a very big focus, as I mentioned, and we take it very seriously. And we're also using, besides the hosted tokenization, we're currently building in the hosted payments page for some click-to-pay products. So I think you guys are going to be really excited when we're able to demo those solutions as well. So moving on to solutions, that being said, with FlexiPay, this is a split tender product that we've bolted onto as a separate module. Not everybody needs it, not everybody wants it, but we do have some use cases where some folks can't live without it. So they came to us specifically because they weren't able to achieve multiple payments on an invoice, multiple tenders on an invoice, but it can do multiple credit card payments, split payments as well. So it supports VelocityConnect, credit card module, and the whole 9 yards. So that is something that we include with our credit card processing services, which is a pretty major value add. The card present terminals, as I talked earlier, I will show a small demo on what happens as far as entering in. I think everybody out there has really experienced what it's like to use credit card machine in your retail experience in your daily life. So, you know, we just show the devices that we use, and we'll touch on that real quick. But card present terminals are always included in our service. It's something that we put on a rental program, but we don't charge you. So there's full support. If there's ever an issue, there's quick returns. But these are actually what they call point-to-point encrypted. So from the term P2PE, which you'll have me, or excuse me, which I'll be bringing up from time to time, means that credit card terminal isn't talking to your software. It's talking back to the endpoint for the credit card processor. So when you run a card present transaction, it's the most secure process out there in the business right now. So the card present terminals are a very nice add. So folks who have walk-in traffic or will call counters or you know, any sort of point of sale hybrid use of Sage 100, it's going to be pretty fantastic. I apologize, I had some stuff pop up on my screen. So and last but not least, the email invoice click-to-pay product. So with click-to-pay, we're able to add payment links to documents. That's something that we're just finalizing, and we should have out in full production here, probably right around the 1st of June. But click-to-pay is going to be something that we'll probably have another follow-up on and give you guys a full demo of click-to-pay on its own. So we'll dive into that at another time. But last but not least is support. So as I alluded to earlier, as far as demoing it, if you're already using Sage 100, you already know how to use VelocityConnect as far as the payments. You know, the screens are the same; they have a different logo on them. But at the end of the day, the entire process is seamless. We didn't want to create a bunch of retraining. Now, when we get into FlexiPay or some of the other features, you know, there will be some differences that we will dive into one-on-one, depending on what your use case is. But the training aspect would more so be in the virtual terminal or the gateway, where you go into the reporting. And I think out of all of the products that I've used in the industry, we really feel like that the CardPoint Gateway is the most advanced, most exciting product, because you can do everything from it, from your statements, your batches, drill down on transactions. I mean, it really has a great set of features. And so that kind of ties in with the 360-degree transaction view. We've taken the sales order information as far as the line item detail and everything we pass to the processor for the level 3 information qualification, excuse me. But the 360-degree view is really allowing you to understand when you dive into a transaction in the gateway, you know which sales order or invoice or payment record that was for. So we give you the ability to really tie things together very tightly. There's always free installation and support. We're very closely tied with SWK as far as making sure that there's channels. So depending on whether you reach out to us directly or to our support emails, or whether or not you want to talk to your customer account manager or your consultant, they all have a direct line back to us if there's ever any questions, cause for concern. So support is very important for us. We feel like we do that very well, and we're very responsive. And with that, you know, I'm going to touch on custom development, because that's where a lot of our relationships are built. People need an enhancement. They find out a little bit more about the VelocityConnect payment integration. So it really goes both ways. So again, the support after the sale has really been a big driver for, you know, touch point with the customer, as far as being able to let them know that we do more besides just payments. We are a master developer for Sage, and we do full custom projects, and we have a full catalog of extended solutions. So I'm going to move along here and touch, you know, drill down on a couple of these topics. First and foremost is the interchange optimization. As I mentioned, you know, you can definitely see a significant savings, and the way that happens is that the credit card processing platforms and the issuing banks will lower the rate of interchange based on how much data you send. And really how they look at this is the more you know about your customer, the more you know about the transaction, the less perceived risk there is in that transaction. So they're charging you less for the interchange portion of it. So that's where, you know, having all of the level 2 and level 3 data points mapped appropriately and sending all of that data in is just critical for making sure that you're paying the least amount possible. So this is something that we've been very effective with, you know, with Sage 100 and of course Acumatica as well. So some of the rates that you see here on the right are just an example. I'm going to kind of give you a better visual here of what we're doing. So typically, when you send in data, you're going to be somewhere down around the bottom of this chart as far as credit card processing through a standard gateway and a connection to Sage 100. So electronic and standard, you know, you just see kind of, you have an idea per thousand how much more those would cost. And I see this every day. We're provided statements, and we drill down onto the actual rate that you're paying, that which we can affect, the transaction fee that you're paying, and then how much of this interchange is actually being optimized. And so we do a great analysis that shows you, you know, out of the $100,000 a month you process, we can optimize 30, 40, 50,000 a month of it, and we break down each one of those categories and the transactions there. And so this is a great visual to give you an idea of how and why it's important to do level 3. So a little bit more on the security aspects of card secure and the CardPoint platform. Of course, I can read this to you as far as the slide goes, but really what I want to break down is that the liability of any sort of breach that has to do with decryption of encrypted data falls into the realm of Card Secure and Card Connect's responsibility. Through the hosted tokenization process that we use, they really do say that it's actually irreversible. So that's something that I don't certainly want to challenge the folks to try to reverse, but we feel like that from the backing of Card Connect with the 250,000 plus merchants, a lot of Fortune 500 companies that have leveraged their platform and their technology, we're very confident that we've taken a best of breed product and built it into another best of breed product with Sage. So I bring this up because that's really, as a master developer, we've taken our many years of payments expertise and many years of Sage expertise, and we've taken the products and melded them together, and in the middle you have VelocityConnect. It's important to touch on that because we obviously don't own Sage, we don't own the Card Connect and actual payment platform, and the importance behind that is that there's many millions of dollars of development that has gone into that product, and when we went out and built VelocityConnect, our primary goal is to put the very best B2B enterprise credit card processing services in front of Sage to make sure that we could do anything and everything possible to bring the best solutions to you, the customer. And so with that, those solutions, as I kind of focused on a little bit earlier, are really click to pay, card present, split tender, the FlexiPay product. Those products are all optional, bundled together, all standing on top of the base credit card processing solution, which is VelocityConnect. VelocityConnect at its core has in my opinion, the most gateway options. So we're able to take the e-commerce experience, marry that together with the card present experience, build in the split tender capabilities and with click to pay. And all in all, when you roll that all together, you have the most versatility in the marketplace. And we're finding as more and more customers are migrating from that brick and mortar retail experience, and they're trying to get out and get online, and they're working with various different processors and various different gateways, that when we marry everything into the CardPoint platform, we can support any gateway underneath that with e-commerce. All the deposits are visible in one spot. It really makes life easier for the accounting department and everybody involved. So we're getting a lot of really positive feedback on that. So as far as the native e-commerce solutions that are available, built right into Card Connect, as far as the tokens come from the CardPoint gateway and they'll flow back and forth into Sage. These are the ones that we support. So you'll see on here a lot of the big names: Magento, Zencard, Core Commerce. If you guys have any questions specifically about your needs, reach out to us, post a question here, and we'll definitely make sure that we, again, one-on-one deal with your specific needs. The actual support and training benefits there really isn't a whole lot of training behind it, because again, it's the native stock function within Sage. The screen that pops up has our name on it. It has a special encryption and the actual credit card number there. That's dynamically being encrypted to our DLL back to our hosted tokenization services at CardPoint. But really, the support and training is pretty minimal as far as the native solution. What we find is that there's a little bit more training in the card present, or when we get into the extended solutions or the add-ons to VelocityConnect, such as the FlexiPay. You'll notice on this screen that there's a small card present box, and so you can manually put the card in, or if you have a credit card terminal configured on your system, issued from us, you check card present and it automatically sends that dollar amount that you want to run right over to your credit card machine. And the great thing about that is that it's actually an easier experience than manually entering the card. So it provides kind of meets the customer's expectations as far as providing a retail experience face to face. So what I'm going to do is show you a little bit just how that transaction is entered. And so we're going to watch a short video to see from card not present or card present what that looks like. So bear with me here while I queue this up. It may take just a second for it to load. And we may or may not have volume technical difficulties. I'm going to see if I can actually affect that. I will narrate this, I suppose, a little bit here as we go, since we're not having any luck with the volume. So what you're seeing here is I'm actually putting in the dollar amount into a sales order and showing that the fact that you can run it to a terminal. And there's a drop down there for the terminals. You can still send full information for receipt processes or anything else. You can still alter shipping or billing information, excuse me. And what happens is it sends that dollar amount out here to the credit card machine, and just like we all have experienced, and sends it back into Sage. So in this case, we actually just demoed the card present functionality of it. But again, these are available on our website at govelocity.com. You can find under the resources tab, you'll be able to find some videos there. And so let's move on to, to the card point account management here. So what you're seeing here is a dashboard for CardPoint. And what, again, what I want to allude to is that CardPoint is not just your virtual terminal. CardPoint is your full accounting suite. You can set users up and limit them to see certain things, allow them to just be able to process a transaction. But this is going to consume all aspects of your credit card processing world, no matter whether you have Sage plugged in, whether you have a website plugged in, or whether you need a desktop terminal away from Sage that just actually prints a receipt. It's powered by CardPoint at the core, and all the data comes back to one central location. So you're able to manage your PCI compliance. Chargebacks are a big thing. You can see all the chargeback management in there, get your statements. And of course, if you have multiple locations, you're actually able to drill down. You'll see an overview of all your locations, and you can drill down location by location and discover what their daily volume was or what their deposits were. So with that, that really concludes the core of our discussion as far as VelocityConnect, the parts that make it up, and the services that we provide. And my contact information is on here. My direct extension is 401. I would encourage you, if you want to know more, if you want to bring in your IT folks to ask us questions, or if you need to have a customized demo or want to learn more about any of our products, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can reach out to your customer account manager at SWK, your consultant. They can direct you back to us to make sure that we provide you with a full demonstration from VelocityConnect. So with that, do we have any questions or concerns today?
Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, before we begin the question and answer portion, I just want to remind everyone, like Jeremy said, if you have any additional questions after the Q&A, please email your customer account manager or camteam@swktech.com. So now let's take a look and see what questions came through. And it looks like we have one question that came through. And they're asking, what is the contract length and are there any installation costs?
Yes, I can answer that. So with the contract length, we don't do any early termination fee or any contract length. So the processing agreement in itself is a document that has verbiage in there of a 3-year standard contract, but we don't enforce that. We want to make sure people have the option to use whoever they want, and if we're the best product, you'll be sticking with us. With that, what was the second part of the question? I apologize.
The second part of the question was whether or not there are any installation costs.
Oh, yes, of course. No installation costs. VelocityConnect is absolutely free as long as you're processing with our credit card processing services. Support, installation, everything is free with that. Thank you for that question.
Of course. So it looks like that is the only question that came through, and that concludes our webinar today. Again, we will be distributing the recording of today's webinar in the next few days. And in the meantime, make sure to check out and follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter. And as always, you can find information on our upcoming webinars and events on our website at swktech.com/events-list. Thank you for attending, and thank you, Jeremy, so much for your time today.
Thank you, Sasha.
Have a great day, everyone.